Coming up on a This Old House special, they started the movement with their back-to-basics creativity. They are the makers. Their skills made This Old House restorations special.
What happened to all this plumbing here? I've never seen anything like this before. There's already rot going on in that trunk.
So what have you found up here?
Well, a bit of a surprise. It's really the classic plumber's lament.
Nice.
It's 5 bathrooms, it's a kitchen, it's a full new mechanical. It's going to be big.
Sounds like you guys have a plan.
I think we do.
Money's in the details.
That is beautiful. Craftsmanship is what we celebrate on This Old House. Today, we introduce you to the people we've met who've dedicated their lives to a specific skill. Product of their work, it makes the homes we restore amazing.
Ta-da!
Look at this thing. One of the first people you will meet is a woodworker who sources his own material, so he's also a lumberjack. But he's unlike any lumberjack you've met. This is the Edisto River, and it's about 45 minutes from Charleston. And today, our lumberjack, well, he's not wearing flannel, he's wearing scuba gear, because we are looking for wood that has been sunk in these waters for decades. Justin Harrington. Justin, how are you?
Doing fine. How about yourself?
I'm doing all right. This is a beautiful spot you guys got here. And this is quite the get-up. So what is the process for finding these?
Well, we're heading upriver right now to try and find an old cypress log.
So where did they come from, and how did they get to the bottom of this river?
Well, the old stuff that we're looking for was stuff that was probably maybe standing when Christopher Columbus came over, the Spaniards came over. And
wow, that is a precious piece of wood.
And some of the natural fallen trees we find could potentially be thousands of years old.
Wow. So you think this is the spot?
Well, I was out here a few days ago with my sonar and located quite a few logs right in this little general area.
Yeah.
And the one that we're going to go after today is right out here. I'm going to suit up, go down, see if I can't get a rope around it, and a chain, see if we can tie the barge to it.
All right.
Hold it up, see what happens.
Let's do it. Let's find some cypress. Got some bubbles right here on the left pontoon.
Got it, come on.
Justin finds the log. He has actually attached himself to it by a line. And now the pontoon boat has literally come right up over him so they can drop the winch line, which he grabbed. And now his challenge is in near pitch black to get that line and those tongs onto our log. He's fighting it. Feet up.
I got it up off the bottom. Now I need to move these tongs this way.
All right, so he's got the tongs actually on the tree.
Yeah, give me a chain. Give me a chain. I can get under it.
He's lifted it up enough that he can get a chain underneath it, which is what he's doing right now.
Got a hook right there. Let's hang it from a chain. Let's hang it from a chain. Take the tongs loose, put the cable around it, and hook it up higher. Hook it up the middle. You got it.
Any guess looking at this as how old the tree was when it
We
was
could
cut?
spend some time and count these growth rings, but I would guess this is 150, maybe 200 years old.
When it was cut?
At the time of cut. If I had to guess, judging by the period that they were logging here, 150, 200 years.
And then how long do you think it was in the river?
150 years probably.
So we're looking at 300,
Easily.
500-year-old tree.
Yes, this is an old tree.
So you're happy?
I'm very happy.
All right, let's
I'm glad we got it home safely. Nobody got hurt.
Let's get it to the mill.
Let's take it.
After centuries in the river, this sinker has absorbed a lot of moisture. First, the log is milled, then kiln-dried. Several months later, we went back to Justin's shop. Hey, Justin. Hey, guys. Good to see you again. So this is it, huh? This is our piece of wood that you guys pulled up from the river?
Yes, it is.
Boy, look at that, huh? We don't see that often. You can still see the root flare shape, the part that gave us so much trouble getting it out. You've got the live edge going down on this side, and it is thick, huh? What is that?
It's about 2.5 inches thick.
Well, that is going to be beautiful. All right. So the homeowners and the architect designed a table that would come in 3 pieces, and put one way would be sort of a half circle, but then you could turn it around and make sort of a serpentine look.
Absolutely.
How are we going to get from this to that shape?
Well, unfortunately, we're going to have to cut off a good bit of this wide slab to get the 24-inch width that they desire.
Okay.
So what we've done here is we've got our first curve marked at 24, and what we're going to do is bring that over here.
From your 1 point.
And if you wouldn't mind, grab that tape and give me a 24-inch mark right across the middle there.
Good right about there.
That looks good.
And there.
Mark it.
Look at that. Just gives you that perfect little arch right there, huh?
Yes, sir, it does.
And that's your cut line?
That's where we'll cut. And you can see over here, we have one already shaped.
Already.
These edges a little bit. The idea is to follow the grain.
And no rules here, just
Your eyes and your hands.
So even though we had to cut away the live edge, this sort of brings it back to that live organic feel right there.
Absolutely.
That is terrific.
If we get it to a certain point, we'll run through sander. All right, Kevin, so now we've got this down to 220, and we're going to put a coat of shellac on it, let it dry, and then we will build a finish from there.
So shellac is your weapon of choice here.
This is a traditional finish. I've been using it for hundreds of years. Shellac is actually the exoskeleton of the shellac beetle, which is native to India. And they harvest these exoskeletons, they pound them up, mix it with grain alcohol, and they make a finish. I've been using it for hundreds of years.
Well, you can see the wood is just soaking in that shellac, hence the multiple coats.
It really is, and that's what we like. We like to see that first coat suck right in. I mean, if we're getting good penetration. This is the first of many coats. We'll probably go 6 or 7, maybe 8 or 9 coats, depending on the fill that we desire.
The table was commissioned for our Charleston project and designed by the Renovation architect. You drew the original concept for this table, and I was actually fortunate enough to see Justin dive into the river, pull this log out, slab it, dry it, and then make it into what it is today. And this thing is amazing.
Beautiful sinker cypress. You guys picked a really good one. The grain is so wonderful. Decided to go with the live edge to accentuate that.
You had originally thought it was going to be a straight cut here, but everyone fell in love with that edge.
I like this better. It's beautiful.
Justin's drive pushes him to find his unique material and shape it into a work of art. That tenacity also pushes Ann Baxter. We met her in Detroit as we helped the family bring back to life a house that had been abandoned for 4 years. These windows on the front are a very special feature of the house. You can see that they are steel casements. They've got leaded glass and stained glass detail, so we are definitely saving these. And so that's why we've got our stained glass artist, Ann Baxter, here to help out. Ann, nice to see you.
Hey, Kevin, nice to see you.
So what do you think of our window? What's the diagnosis?
I think the windows are lovely. I think they just need some maintenance, and I think we can bring them back to what they look like originally.
Really?
I think the bigger damage has been on the framework itself. And
a couple pieces here you're saying. Is that
there are.
We've got the glass inside, but then the metal frame out here.
Yes, the steel frame on the outside is what actually secures the glass in the opening of the house itself. The steel frame shows a lot of rust damage, especially down the bottom.
Well, I'm glad to hear that you're not afraid of that. In terms of leaded glass, what's your process for cleaning this up?
First, I'm chiseling out all the putty that was holding it in the steel frame. Once I get it out of there, I can put this panel on my bench. There we go.
Got it. Just lay it down here.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay, so Kevin, let's look at the transom first.
Love that.
It's beautiful, and it's in really sturdy condition. Looking at the back of it, you can see that there has been some repairs. Probably it needs to have some of this old putty removed, cleaned up, re-puttied. But and basically, it's solid like a rock. So I think we're good with this one. Okay. Let's move this behind and let's look at the other piece. We obviously have a cracked piece in this diamond piece right here.
Yeah.
We can look around here and see that there's a lot of putty in here and that this is an undercut piece of glass.
Undercut meaning too small for the opening?
It's too small. I could see the edge of the glass. It's not totally engaged in the lead at all. So somebody has done this as a quick fix. What that does is once that putty hardens and dries and falls out, the glass is loose. It also means that everything standing above it will tend to see over time to fall down because there's nothing right below it that's filling it in. It's not keeping it in plane.
So what is the process for fixing these two problems?
I should be able to pull the lead open, remove all that old putty, remove the old pieces, put new glass in correctly. There's part of it. The other part of it. So the piece that came out, Kevin, is very thin, and it looks like it's fairly contemporary. This is probably a replacement at some point. But it looks at the thickness of the single-strength glass.
Finish you have, because
Yes.
it seems to get thicker as you go out,
Yes.
right up to something that's really thick.
This is really thick. A lot of times this is what's used in the fenestra windows because they didn't have storms on them. So usually the thinner glass is the one that we would go with.
We're going to cut one of those.
Yes.
Feel that. Perfectly straight.
There we go.
It's a nice fit.
Okay, so now I'm going to rebend the lead back.
The lead is still soft after all these years.
It should stay soft. The whole point is that that lead protects the glass because it is malleable. So before I can resolder them, I do need to grind them down a little bit to get the oxidation off.
So similar to what a plumber uses, flux and solder.
Exactly.
Just touch it to... Hey, what's the story with that putty? Is that your own mix?
It is, Kevin. I make my own putty.
What's the recipe, if you don't mind?
No, I don't mind at all. It's a mix of boiled linseed oil, mineral spirits, calcium carbonate, which is chalk or whiting. It's common in the paint industry. And I add lamp black paint to take it down to this dark gray so that you don't see a bright white stripe.
When you get the color match spot on.
Oh, thank you. I do like that better than that bright white stripe. Okay, so what we did with this little piece, Kevin, that was broken, we're going to do the same thing with the undercut pieces. And that way all the old putty is out, new putty is in,
All
and
right.
the whole piece gets cleaned
And
up.
you're an artist. I can't tell you how glad we are that we're going to save these windows. And you're going to save these windows for us.
Oh, thank
We'd
you,
love
Kevin.
to see them going back in.
I'm happy to be part of saving windows.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Makers are not always millennials. For many years, the Silva family has worked with a craftsman who calls himself the Tin Man. And this is the Tin Shop. It is a family-run enterprise that's been in business for over 60 years. And these guys, they can build anything out of copper and other metals. I mean, look at all these different weather vanes they have here, a sailing ship, an airplane, and have a look at that beauty. Well, the operation is run by Ed Packard. Ed, good to see you again.
Hi, Kevin.
Well, you guys have been here for a while, huh?
Yeah, since 1955.
Everything in the same building.
Everything.
And so you guys make just about anything, right?
Yeah, we make a lot of anything that's made out of copper primarily.
Yeah.
Weather vanes, DNA molecules, and motorcycles, and helicopters, and whatever they need.
So what's the process? A customer comes in with a sketch, or they just have to have an idea, and
Yep,
you guys are
that's
off to the
it.
races?
Yep, they bring in a drawing or a sketch or a picture or whatever, and then we reproduce it.
Well, you've done a lot for us over the years. You had that beautiful owl weather vane that we put up on a building. You do roofing materials and copper shower pans. And today it's about a hood.
Yep, and it's over here. And this is the hood we're making. It's made of 3 different materials. It's stainless steel for the box. This is the main carcass of it.
So how big are we talking here?
It's 42 inches wide.
42. So this sits above the range.
Above the range. This will all be hidden.
Oh, here. Okay.
Yeah, the only thing you're going to see is this curved front,
Yep.
which is made out of nickel silver, or German silver we call it.
Why do you use this?
Well, it's similar to stainless steel, but it patina's better.
Oh,
And
okay.
it makes a better color,
Yeah.
and it doesn't have that bright commercial look about it.
Nice. So you can sort of see the similarities.
Yeah. So what Peter will do, Peter will take a piece of that German silver down there. He'll cut it to size on that shear, and then he'll take it over and he'll form it on this roll. And it's a multiple thing. He has to keep going through until it's the exact contour. This stuff is pretty stiff. It has a temper to it. Everything matches. We secure it to the carcass.
So you got that all bent up. Is that going to fit to your satisfaction?
It should, a little more tweaking.
All right. And when the tweaking's done, what's your next step?
Well, we'll be applying a second band here of brass to the bottom.
So that's the front piece of trim there.
It is. And then we have a curved piece,
Right.
which here and over these seams.
Well, okay. 4 of those and secured with rivets?
Secured with brass rivets, yes.
All right, looks terrific. So when do we see this next, Ed?
Well, it goes to Kennebec, the cabinet people, and from there to the job site.
So that's when it gets installed, and it's going to look beautiful by then. We hope. I'm sure it will. All right, great to see you guys again. This hood was a centerpiece in our recent Arlington project. Another maker, Rosemary DeWeese, introduced our Arlington homeowner and me to a unique painting style. Up here on the second floor, Emily has a very unique idea for how we are going to paint Serafina's room. Hey, Emily.
Hey, Kevin. I want you to meet Rosemary DeWeese.
Hi, Kevin.
Is going to help us with a lejour technique that we're going to be painting here.
Whoa, what is that? I have never heard of that before.
Well, I didn't know the name of it either, but we were thinking what we're going to do in Serafina's room. And I remember the walls at my daughter's school, and they're really lovely. The feeling that you have is like you're looking at the sky or watercolor. One of her teachers put me in touch with Rosemary, and here we are today.
Okay, so where does your process start? What do we have to do to get lejour paint?
The first step is to prepare the walls. Moreau has helped us put on 2 coats of clay paint.
Clay paint. So
Clay paint.
I've not heard of that either. What is it and why are we using
Clay paint, it's all natural, and it's very absorbent, which allows for this watercolor feeling that you're going to see.
Okay, so that is up, and then where do you go from there?
My first coat will be this permanent rose acrylic paint I use.
You seriously use paint just like this?
Just like this out of the tube.
Well, that's just like you'd see an artist would use, possibly.
And so what we do is we take these buckets and I add a little bit of pigment. I use some polymer and a lot of water. And it stays on the wall because of the polymer.
Very cool. And the brushes are also new to me. What's the story with those?
These brushes are special from Sweden, and I'm using them in a figure 8 movement and diagonally across the wall. It gives a feeling of movement and spaciousness.
I say let's lejour. Let's do it. You
Let's
ready?
go. Yeah,
Okay.
I'm ready. Who's got the dry brush?
Right here.
Okay, Emily, do you want to try it?
Number 2 brush.
I'm going to still use 1 and 2. It's going to get very confusing. 2 brushes, and I need the brushes not to get mixed up.
2. 1. Bucket 2.
I'm going to bring this darker tone in. We're creating a little drama.
So this is the darker color that's going
This
on
is
now.
the darker color that is, and then there will be a second coat that will be blue.
Blood pressure is dropping. Give me some more oxygen. Got it. What happened to serene, calming, and uplifting? It's terrifying.
Is it really?
Yes.
1 brush.
And is SP2? No, the 2.
That's 2.
There. Bucket 2. You live it dangerously.
All right, that corner brush, that narrow little
Here,
corner
back
brush.
pocket, right there.
Perfect. Thank God you're here.
I know.
What would we do without you here?
Paint it yellow.
Well, I think I'm done here. I think I'm going to step back and see what happens.
What do you think? So is this done, or is this just done for now?
This is done for now. This is the first coat. And we will put blue on, cerulean blue, tomorrow.
Okay. Every maker knows dedication builds skills. In Charleston, South Carolina, there's a school that teaches some of the earliest building trades. If you live in downtown Charleston, you probably want some wrought iron in your front yard. Finding somebody to make you a gate like this is hard. In fact, it's one of the reasons why the American College of the Building Arts even exists. And Joe and Kaylin know that they are lucky to have a place nearby to learn the old world craft of blacksmithing.
Well, I originally wanted to do timber framing, but when I came down to the school for my orientation, I don't know, I was just like blown away by blacksmithing. I was like, that's what I want to do. It's just so cool. I'd never seen it before in my life, so.
Like a love at first sight kind of thing?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I had already gone to a more academically minded college in Washington State, and I'd done physical science and theater and all kinds of different stuff, and I really started to zero in on the architecture and the ironwork, and it's that thing where you cannot unsee it once you see it. I think the idea of having this really solid material that you don't think of as moving much and then turning it into this really plastic fluid thing in the process of forging it is a really fascinating process.
It's not like when you're working with wood, you can set it down and walk away and just kind of go back to it when you want. When you're working with iron, you pull that thing out of the fire and you've got a minute and 30 seconds to figure out what's going on and look at it and make assessments as you go.
Hot and hit it hard. They say strike while the iron is hot, and it's very true. The shape that the iron makes is the space between the anvil and your hammerhead. So that exact shape and the exact articulation of your hammer and how the piece is being held against the anvil all make a difference in what the outcome is.
So I'm looking at this piece behind you right here, and what do you think when you see something like that, something that has lasted so long, that's something that is so renowned here in town?
Just to think that a couple hundred years ago, somebody thought up that design and just, there it is.
What is that like when you're in that little area, when you guys are all pounding away together?
It's a pretty cool rhythm to get in when you're forging with others in the shop and just seeing what other people get up to. I think one of the best parts about blacksmithing is partner forging, where you've got one person who's kind of directing the work and the other guy's got the sledgehammer and they're pounding away, kind of providing extra muscle.
What do your friends say when someone says, "Oh, she's a blacksmith"?
A lot of times people's reaction is that still a thing? Just kind of an interesting perspective to have. But yeah, it's pretty cool. I think a lot of people are really happy to hear about what I do, and definitely just to know that there's still folks who are doing it. I think it's pretty cool.
I love being a blacksmith.
All right, let's see how they are. I gotta say, these gates are absolutely beautiful. I know you have a little more fine-tuning to do on them, but you guys did a fantastic job. You really should be proud.
Thanks, Tommy.
Next time on This Old House, we'll take a detailed look at what has become a focal point in many home renovation projects. This thing is a time capsule, huh? The kitchen.
We're going to try to push this wall out about 6 feet.
From the initial design to the final reveal, we'll examine the problems many homeowners face as we follow the transformation of this outdated, cramped galley kitchen.
All right.
Are you happy with it?
We feel like it's a dream come true.